2024. Good morning to you, and thank you so much for tuning in to Delta Television, the People's Pride. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Asaba, I welcome you specially to Friday's edition of Morning Ride, the last morning ride for the month of August 2024. My name is Blessing Osiabada, and with me this morning, for the first time on Friday's edition of Morning Ride, is Perpetua Igbowa. Hello, Perpetua. Good morning.
Good morning, Blessing. How
So,
you doing?
I'm doing very well. So good to be with you on Friday's edition of Morning Ride.
Same here. Thank you so much.
The ride promises to be entertaining, informative, and educative this morning. We'll be kickstarting with the biggest trend on X, and thereafter we'll bring you our safety corner. We also have newspaper headlines for this morning. We'll review them with our analyst, and then we'll round it up with our interview segment. So there are lots of amazing features for you this morning. But before we start, let's talk a little about what has been happening in our country, Nigeria. Virtual, it's like the protest that held weeks ago. The hashtag End Bad Governance is beginning to yield positive results because the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has given traders in Nigeria 1 month ultimatum to slash the prices of their goods in Nigeria. That report was released yesterday, and I don't know how they're going to enforce this 1 month ultimatum now, because after 1 month, what happens if these traders in the market refuse to slash their prices? What happens if the prices of gari, the prices of rice, prices of groundnut oil, yam? What happens if they refuse to slash the prices? What will the FCCPC do? It's a good one. I was actually very happy when I saw it, because this is one of the reasons why youths came out to protest against the bad governance in Nigeria, the high cost of living. But now there's this ultimatum, and I really don't know if it's something that the FCCPC they're serious about. But it's going to be a good one, really, if traders in the country really cut down their prices, slash their prices, actually.
In as much as it's good news, it's a very good news. Now the question is, these people did not use dust to get those goods and services. So right now, what is running through my head is that these people will be running at a loss, and if care is not taken, a very high one at that. So to get them to slash the prices of goods and services will be a bit difficult, because they're going to ask you, when things were high, that was when we got it, and you expect us to sell it at a low rate. What is our compensation for selling it at a low rate? What is the federal government going to do for us? Because it's not just about the federal government giving orders and telling people to slash it. The federal government has to be considerate in understanding that these people also used money to get those things, most especially goods that are imported. They paid tax, they paid for transport, they paid for hazards, unforeseen circumstances. If their goods were seized, they had to go to clear them before it came, transportation, logistics, all of that. So it's not enough for the federal government to just put rules and say, slash, this is the ultimatum, 1 month. What modalities are you putting in place to ensure that even after they have slashed the prices of these goods and services, they don't run at a loss? Because these people are not just in the market to sell and smile. They're also there to make gain, because they've got needs. They're humans too.
They have to feed
They've
their
got
families.
needs too. They have families, they have siblings, they have relatives, they have friends, they have bills to pay, the ones that are sane and the ones that they don't even know will come up. So what modalities are the government putting in place to ensure that even after these people have slashed it, they don't feel the effects on their bank accounts? These are the questions we should ask,
You've
basically.
actually nailed it, because when I saw this report yesterday, I asked myself, I said, okay, fine, it's a good one. Nigerians would love this if the prices of goods and services in the market are slashed. But then, are they also going to slash the price of petrol? Because you mentioned cost of transportation. When they go to buy these things, they transport it back to where they sell these products, and the cost of transportation is still high.
Very high.
Just recently, if you're taking a tricycle from any part of Asaba, they'll tell you that the fee has been increased because of how much they're buying petrol. So is the prices of petrol going to be slashed? I think they should start with these private marketers, these owners of filling stations, they should go around and make sure that they reduce the price of petrol first before they go for those traders, because those traders are Nigerians like us. Those traders have families to feed like us. Those traders, once they're done with their business, they go back to buy petrol. Some of them, it depends on the kind of business they're running. Some of them buy petrol to run their businesses for as long as you know they're open. So the federal government has to make sure that they put modalities in place before coming up with these policies. It's beautiful to come up with policies. It's beautiful to come up with these ideas, but then Hyperpetra has asked, what modalities are you putting in place to make sure that these traders have a favorable working condition? Because it's not just about saying cut down your prices. What are you giving to these workers?
Exactly.
How is the environment? How is the environment for them to run their businesses? These are the things that we need to look at. So it's a federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has a lot to do before they start embarking on that ultimatum, because they said there's going to be severe.
Not just about rules, they should get practical.
Exactly.
We're in Nigeria.
Truly. They need to get practical, and then they need to sit down and really think things through. It's not just to come out on media and just say anything. You need to sit down and think about these policies that you're coming up with, or these actions you plan to take. Make sure that you've thought about it, and then you'll consider the traders as you consider Nigerians as well. Moving on, yesterday was the 29th of August 2024. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajaero, finally honored the police invitation. Last week, we talked about this, and he was in their custody for 1 hour. You know, investigation went on for 1 full hour, and after the investigation was done, he was released. And he came out and he said the NLC cannot be intimidated. And then his lawyer as well, he was accompanied by Femi Falana, and the lawyer said when he got to meet the police, that the reasons why they called him was different from what they were asking. Now, first, remember that there were serious allegations against the president. Very strong allegations against Comrade Joe Ajaero: terrorism, felony and funding of banditry. So many serious allegations against NLC president. But he said when he got there, that what they were asking about was about a tenant who rented an apartment in the NLC secretariat. Remember that, you know, when the police came to embark on that raid, they said they were looking for a foreigner who has been sponsoring terrorism in different parts of the world. Well, we're glad that he's out. We're glad that he went this way, because I was worried about how it was going to turn out if we're going to have under industrial action from the NLC. I know that this is not the time for the NLC to embark on any industrial action. So
at all.
I'm glad it turned out this way. He's out, and he's been cleared of those allegations. The police they've made a U-turn, and they said that the reason why they called him for investigation is not the reason why. It was not the reasons they put out in the first place, because those were very serious allegations.
So those allegations they put out there was just to tension us and
really
make us anxious. But it's a good thing that he's been cleared. At least we can completely focus on how the minimum wage can be implemented in all the states in the country, because that invitation for questioning was more of like an attention drift somehow. Attention was divided. Some states have started implementing, some states have not started. Now the head of the NLC is being called. What will be his fate? But thank God that everything went well. Now we can, all put our focus on one thing. That's just the minimum wage implementation.
They've left our president for us, so we do hope that Comrade Joe Ajaero will focus on the implementation and make sure that they implement the new minimum wage as soon as possible. All right, we move on now as we start with the biggest trend on X. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by our ex-girl, Tega, as she comes on set to tell us what has been trending this week. Please stay tuned.
On that edition of X Trend. I'm your host and ex-girl, Tega Roje, and with me this morning I have Blessing and Perpetual.
Good morning,
Good
Tega.
morning.
Good morning.
So Perpetual, this is your first time joining us.
It is.
How do you feel?
I feel good.
Okay. So we're basically talking about like the biggest trends on X this week, and we're going to be starting with some highlights from the week. So the first thing that happened this week was Interpol busted Black Axe Global Crime Network and arrested over 300 members. That was on August 28, 2024. So Black Axe is known for their involvement in various online scams in West Africa, and like they're the most feared criminal group in West Africa right now. So people were very like thankful that okay, this is what EFC needs to like be more hands-on. So another thing that was also trending was also Nin Sim. So the NC came out and they gave cards because we remember during the protest when people were complaining that their SIM card stopped working. So now the NC has officially made a day or a date that okay, everybody should link, and they play on X. So I think by now like everybody should be aware of this deadline. So now let's move on to our main trends on X this week. So our main trend was hashtag TG Omari, and it was trending alongside hashtag kidney. So TG Omari he came out and said that he had a kidney transplant, and it was his brother that actually gave him one of his kidneys. But unfortunately, this kidney transplant failed. So people came out on X and were crying and sympathizing with him, giving condolences, saying that they hope he feels better. So people came out to drag NAFDAC. So NAFDAC was actually pulled into this situation, saying that NAFDAC needs to do better. They need to actually try and ensure the ban of fake properties in Nigeria, things like fake drugs, fake drinks, especially in clubs. Because they say what resulted to his own was fake drinks. And we know that there was a period of time when there was a circulation about like fake Azu drinks in clubs, and a lot of like fake drinks to Fantas, Coke. So people are saying that NAFDAC needs to put a stand on that and actually do more research into this, actually ban these things properly.
Alright.
So let's quickly read some of the tweets. So Very Dark Man came out and actually even made a video about the whole NAFDAC thing, and this was the tweet that TG Omari came out. So let me just give you guys a spotlight on who TG Omari is. He's a music director and a producer. So most of those music videos that we see from a lot of our popular artists is the like man behind the idea. So that's why people like really sympathize with him a lot. So some of the tweets were Africa Doctor came out and said, my heart goes out to TG Omari and everyone battling with kidney failures. It's draining both on your pockets and your body and your mind. Someone else came out and said, a session of dialysis costs around 60k. If one's kidney fails today, they need 2-3 sessions per week. Do the math and you understand TG Omari's recent tweets about how losing health is the fastest way to go broke. God help him. Someone else said, so TG was shooting all those good videos and catching crews here on X with end-stage renal disease. I am really glad the brother donated the kidney to him. I pray his body accepts it too. Someone else said, if TG Omari is not caring and supportive to his brother financially, he may not have donated his kidney. Some of you will make money and forget your siblings. Rats. So let's have a blessing.
It is very heartbreaking. I saw tweets like I saw TG Omari's tweets yesterday.
Yeah.
Then I saw lots of response on his tweets. I read a lot of them, and then there's this talk about smoking. Lots of netizens were like, oh, we've advised you to stop smoking. When we tell these artists to stop smoking, they won't listen to us and all of that. There's so many reasons why a person can have kidney failure. So many reasons. Some could even be the food that you eat. You may not even be taking drinks in the clubs. The food that you eat these days. Some of our fruits that we take into our system, what they use to preserve these fruits. If they tell you what they use in preserving fruits, preserving beans, and other things we buy in the market, you'll be scared to even put anything in your mouth. So it is scary these days that we live in a country where the safety and the hygiene of citizens is not taken seriously. It's really sad. I think NAFDAC has a lot to do. There are lots of fake drugs that the doctors will tell you, okay, go outside to buy. You go to the pharmacy, you buy these drugs. They are fake. So one cannot be too careful. So I don't know what actually led to TJ's kidney failure, but right now he's down and he needs the prayers of Nigerians. Nigerians should really pray for him. And it's so sad that his brother, his only brother, actually, gave him his kidney and it failed. So I really don't know what's next for him, but we really wish him the best. And for Nigerians, do all you can. This is in fact, there is no time for you to be sick in Nigeria right now, because I don't know if things will get better, if the prices of drugs and everything will come down. But right now, if you're watching, this is the best time for you to make a U-turn on your lifestyle, on your diets, on everything about what goes into your system and what you do as a person. Because if you're smoking, then you really need to stop. This is time for you to stop. If you eat unhealthy, it is time for you to stop. If you eat late, if you don't exercise, these are the things that when we make our New Year resolutions, this should be part of our New Year resolutions, to live a healthier life. That's what I'm trying to say. This is time for you to really work on yourself. Check, maybe there's a lump on your body or something on your body. You say you don't have money to go to the hospital to check it. Tomorrow you may have to pay for cancer treatment, so you may have to pay for something as serious as your kidney failing, liver problems, and all of that. So if you don't address these issues now, tomorrow you're going to pay double for it. That's just it. Eating healthy is very, very expensive. I agree. But then buying drugs is as expensive as eating healthy, or even more expensive. And then you may not even live long. So it's a choice. You have to make the choice. Exercising is, you may not have time or have the money to register in the gym, but there are other things you could do. Until you go to other markets, you see them producing these drugs. So NAFDAC has a big role to play here. And it's a really life. Then if you don't have time to exercise, you can do little exercises in your home. You get a skipping rope.
Always an alternative.
You could walk, and then for mothers, especially working mothers, try as much as you can to breastfeed exclusively for 6 months. I can't emphasize it enough. Most of this baby food that we see in supermarkets and all of that, you never can tell what's inside those food. For crying out loud, breastfeed your baby for 6 months exclusively. It helps the child's development. But these days, well, I'm not judging anyone, but let's try our best to live a healthy life. That's all I'm going to say, really.
#Lagbaja. So Lagbaja was trending because he made a long-awaited return to music. So the Afrobeat legend Bisade Olugonde, famously known as Lagbaja, has made a surprising return to the music scene after years of silence, known for his unique marked persona and socially conscious music. Released his new album, Ade Damola, and he featured Lagbaja on one of the songs, and this girl put talking that, okay, yes, this was beautiful, that this is actually what we call Afrobeat, that there has been too much of a switch to Amapiano this nowadays with our Nigerian artists, and then that Burna Boy, Fireboy and Lagbaja are bringing back Afrobeat to Nigerians. So let's hear some of the tweets that Nigerians had on X. Someone said, I didn't realize the world needed a Fireboy and Lagbaja combo till I heard the song. And that X user commented, Fireboy, you don't know what you have done for me. I heard Lagbaja and my heart skipped. I could cry. I'm trying to keep it together. Someone else said, Fireboy brought Lagbaja out of retirement and I'm here for it. Nostalgia. Very nice tune also. And that X user said, here's my honest review of Fireboy's DML new self-titled album, Ade Damola. My top 4 favorite tracks are Isioluwa, Ecstasy, which Seun Kuti's trumpets played in the outro, Back and Forth, where King Lagbaja nailed it, and Yawa. Overall, I'll give the album an 8/10. Good music with better noise. So I think this is what Nigeria has needed to see. Nigeria has needed something like fresh, even though it's hard to do with like someone old. But Nigeria really loved it. I even saw a video, the song that Lagbaja featured in. Oh, sorry, Perpetual.
It's good to see Lagbaja back again.
Yeah.
It's been like how many years? Over 10 years, yes, since his last album. So it's good that we have a legend coming back. You know,
Yes.
there is a collabo. It's just like if KSA or Ebenezer Obey, you know, featured with one of these
New
current
artists,
musicians,
yes.
new artists, it will be good. So it's great to see Lagbaja on the scene again.
It's so great. I must give it to Lagbaja. You know, I actually saw a tweet during the week that someone said, so for so many years, no one has been able to identify who Lagbaja is.
Yeah.
Like he's still keeping up with that his, you know, that personality he has created, that masked personality. Nobody knows who he is. Someone said only ladies would be able to tell who Lagbaja is. I don't know how true that. We need more of this, so it's a good one. I haven't listened to the album, but I look forward to listening to it and listening to the song where he featured Lagbaja, and I'm sure it's going to be good. It's a good one to find
Yeah.
out. And
You know, like recently, I've noticed something about it in the Nigerian Nollywood industry,
yeah.
and now our next one is Ash. Edo State Governor Baseki says that he's going to name the Edo Arena after Rema. That is a 6,000 capacity dome. Arena will be named Rema Dome. And Rema was also shown laying the first ceremonial stone for the building. But Nigerians, of course, had a lot to say about this. Even went ahead and also like saw the Oba of Benin,
Yes.
and people said that the Oba of Benin is very reverend, very respected, and Rema did a good thing by going to pay respect and support Edo State is showing Rema. Love it for him so much. When you're big, I beg, son of grace. And then someone else said, is this necessary? Of what reason or purpose to the state? Or what has he done to the state to deserve that for someone promoting smoking? And that actually said, congratulations to him. If they name him after any corrupt politicians, now go ask about patriotism. Now this young talented youth, everybody don't they ask a question. Nigerians to fear. Someone said, more things that happen for this country. For what Kwanu? Rema is a talented artist, no doubt, but what patriotism has he demonstrated to deserve this? Has any street been named after the Navy officer that died saving drowning Nigerians the other day? Someone else said, with all the great Obas and men of Edo State that went the miles, if you are naming an arena after him, then it should be after he has gone. I don't know what this means by after he has gone, but let's hear what you have to say. Listen.
Honestly, Nigerians will always talk. I don't know. I saw this. Rema is a very young man,
Yeah.
and okay, listen to this tweet now. It's beginning to give me to. I'm going to have a change of a mind, but really, Rema is a young man. He has brought so much recognition to the country
Yes.
and to his state. Why are Nigerians like this? Why? The Yoruba artists we have, Whiskey, Davido, we see the way that the Yorubas are so proud of him, the way they are always like saying, oh, Yoruba people have the music industry and all of that. Then we have people like Rema who's doing so great for Edo State. We have Flavor who is doing for the Southeast.
Yeah.
You know, it's for me. I don't see anything wrong with this, really. I don't see anything wrong with it. The young man has done a lot for himself. Rema, I used to know, did not smoke until recently. I don't know what changed, but then it's fine. This is okay. This is okay for me. I don't see anything wrong in it. It's totally fine for me. I don't know if Pepeta has a different opinion.
Actually, individual opinions do not matter as long as Godwin Obaseki has named the center
arena,
after him.
yes.
It stands. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks, what I think, what you
Yes.
think, what even Rema himself thinks if he's undeserving of the award. It's
Yes.
been done. It's been done. So let's just forge ahead.
You know, some people actually came out and actually like tweeted that Obaseki using this as like a main.
It's you cannot completely outrule that fact, but Obaseki knows what he's doing. In as much as people speculate, the
Yeah.
intention is in the mind of the person carrying out the action. So only time will reveal the intention. That's just it.
Yeah. Okay, so that was hashtag grammar, and now let's move on to our next trend. Hashtag Amaka was trending alongside with hashtag Canada. So, for as long as I can remember, we're talking about this ongoing feud between the Igbo and Yoruba people, and now it has extended to Canada and other Western countries where we have a lot of Nigerians there. So, a picture came out, a picture of the lady behind a voice on a TikTok live that was hosted by Nigerians living in Canada, And people said this lady from the video, she was actually saying that they should poison the foods and water of Nigerians, like the Benin people and Yoruba people that are living in Canada. And of course, the House of Rep, they were very swift with this, and they brought a statement, and they talked to the ambassador in Canada, and they were requesting for the prosecution of Amaka, because I named Amaka, for her hate speech against her fellow Nigerians. But people came out and were like, we need to know the true story, we need to know the full story.
Yeah.
That, of course, there's something that conspired before what she said. So people played out the full video of when they actually heard a man, a Benin man, he was also threatening the Igbo people, saying that they start killing them. Anyway, they see Igbo children, they start killing them. So that's what conspired before she now made her own statement.
Yeah.
So let's quickly watch that video. The video was a TikTok live. I think this TikTok live has happened the other time when we talked about
TikTok. We need social media regulation in Nigeria.
Yes.
It's becoming out. It's getting out of hands. The way people can go on any social media platform to say anything without being punished. Meta, Elon Musk, anybody who has social media. I mean, these social media app, the owners of these apps should really come up with strong policies and have a way of regulating these people. You know, people who try to incite violence,
Yes.
who are, you know, political or ethnic bigots. They really need to clamp down on them. And you know, the other time when Saja, okay, yeah, I think it was Nigerians who reported that Saja Ball's account, and her
Yes.
account was taken down. I think that's what Nigerians should do. Once they see any bigot like this, they should just try as much as possible to report the account and take it down.
Yeah, what you said actually true. I don't think we should wait for Meta themselves to actually regulate it. I feel like Nigeria also you can report an account and it will be taken down, because around last year or earlier this year, they sued some of the CEOs of these companies and talking about their regulatory policies are not enough. But that was in America. So if they can't implement it by themselves, then we in Nigeria we should be able to do this by ourselves. We should be able to block.
For my take on this particular trend, this particular X trend is that anybody, these people are it's just one person out of a particular ethnic group. The allegations that a Yoruba man came out to start it, to say that Igbo children should be poisoned, and this lady, she's in Canada, and she made such statements on a TikTok live session. And she has also boasted that she cannot be deported, that Nigerians should do their worst, that she has a Canadian passport, she's a citizen of Canada, and then she can't be deported back to Nigeria and everything. I think that what should be done is, once a bigot is identified, that person should be severely dealt with. The rep in Canada has reported this to the Canadian authorities. I hope that they take serious legal action against this woman, because you can't let a mad person just let them be roaming around. Because looking at the lady, I don't know if we have a picture of this particular lady.
Yes.
Looking at her, to me, she's mentally unstable. She needs to be checked, really. So the Canadian authorities should handle this, or the Nigerian authorities should, keep mounting pressure on the Canadian authorities to deal with this lady, because this is totally wrong. And for any other person who's on social media trying to incite ethnic violence, that person should be figured out, should be fished out by the Nigerian authorities, and that person should be dealt with as well. Because, violence starts like electoral violence as well. It started like there's people coming out to say Igbo should not come out to vote in Lagos State. We saw some celebrities coming out to say so many things. It's just that we overlook things in this country. The Nigerian government do not know when to act and when not to act. So these are things
I think your take on the matter will really align with our comments. So someone commented Lagospedia, MC Olumo, Kainde and Co. They should all be charged to call with same energy and paraded on media. That's the way to curb bigotry and prove that Amaka is in your propaganda, APC. Someone else said, Yorubas do not call for all Igbos to be killed. Kainde did. Igbos do not call for Yorubas to be poisoned. Amaka did. Yorubas do not call for Igbos to be thrown into lagoon. Oba did make a strong law and deal with bigotry on individual basis. Rest of us, all eyes on bats. Someone else said, our face look in absentia shows AIDS, weakness and joyless failed womanhood. Making her a symbol of our tribe may inflict more on our coexistence as a nation. She must face the consequences alone. Let's preach love. And then someone else came out and said, and brought a picture of a woman called Mrs. Remy Tinubu, and said that this is Mrs. Remy Tinubu. She's a Canada immigrant. They tagged the Canada Immigration Office and told them to take notes. People think we'll forget you all that lied. Under this Tinubu regime, we'll market your evil against Indigbo. So this was another woman that actually incited killing and violence. She's a Yoruba woman, and incited killing and violence on the Igbo post. So I don't really understand where this whole like feud came from, but like it just keeps increasing. What's your take on this, Perpetual?
I think that when an anomaly is not rooted out from the beginning, it becomes a norm. And I'm sorry to say this is becoming a norm. In as much as most of the same people around are not comfortable with it. If one person does it and goes away with it, the second person does it and goes away with it, it becomes something that it's not normal, but then we just have to accept. Because if it was nipped in the bud at the initial stage, I don't think she would have the guts and effrontery to do what she did. She must have had a trail of line that, okay, I'm not the first person to do this, and definitely I won't be the last, so let's go there. So, like Blessing said, it is not on the ethnic group, because it's going to definitely affect our coexistence as a people, as a nation, and the individual should be dealt with. Notwithstanding if he or she has talked about one ethnic group or the other, that's none of our business. The individual who made the statement should be dealt with, and it shouldn't even start with her. It should start from those that started it years back, you know. If it had started years back, we wouldn't have this problem.
Anyway, now that she has done this, she should be used as a scapegoat to those who have plans to you know do it in the future.
Do you think it will stop if she's used as a scapegoat?
Because
there are people in the country.
It will have to curb it a little.
It will have to curb it a little.
If we let this one pass, trust me, another person will come up.
I'm just saying that it should be nipped in the bud, because there's some people that seem untouchable, quote and unquote, in the country, and they've made lots of inciting statements, you know.
Only you can hear authorities sort this out. So that is the end of today's X trend. I've talked about the biggest trends on X for this week, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you, Blessing. Thank you, Perpetual. It was nice having you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So see you guys on another Friday edition. Bye. I'm your host and ex-girl, Tegaroji.
Comrade Abel Jumgold. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for
Good
joining
morning,
us.
sir. Welcome.
Comrade Abel Jumgold will be here to analyze some of these headlines with us this morning. So I'll start with the New Telegraph newspaper. The New Telegraph newspaper has this major headline: striking doctors. We will invoke no work report. I'll skip other headlines as we move on to the next paper because of time.
All right, looking at the Punch newspaper this morning, it says presidential fleet, 200 families displaced as NAF demolishes houses. Soldiers deployed in sight. Property owners demand compensation. Federal government keeps mum. You can find this on page 2. At the bottom, riders, it said Ajaero honors police summons, fault terrorism allegation. No work, no pay threat won't stop strike. This one is coming from resident doctors on page 12. Botox enlargement doctor declared wanted as client dies during surgery. You can holders. Canada bars visiting visa holders from work permit. Rule of law must serve all, says NBA president. And lastly, it says $1 million fraud. EFCC nabbed suspected 4 months.
The Guardian newspaper now. The Guardian newspaper has as major headline, leaving, and then we also have on page 7, government increases superb matching grants to 3.6. Over 55,910 civilians killed in Nigeria in 4 years, says reports. Foreign inflow down by 57.22% as investors appraise portfolio. That is on business page 15. And then we have Afe Babalola cautions against 18 years limit for WAEC and NECO. That is on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. I'll skip other headlines as we move on.
Okay, moving on, looking at the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, the major story here says Nigerians paid 1.04 billion naira ransom to kidnappers in 1 year. Report: 1,056 killed, 7,568 abducted in 1,130 incidents. Credible intelligence lacking. This one is coming from the former AIG. Ex-DSS boss wants emergency declared on security. Troops neutralized 1,166 terrorists in 29 days. This one is coming from the DHQ. I returned $10,000 to please Allah. This is coming from an airport worker. Police interrogation. Labor movement worth dying for. This is coming from Ajaero. Strike. Federal government slams no work, no pay policy on resident doctors. And lastly, looking at the Daily Trust newspapers this morning, it says CBN report warns of rising financial strain for citizens.
The last paper for review is the Nigerian Tribune, and we have this major headline: federal government gives traders 1 month to crash prices. The riders, FCCPC meets stakeholders, explains why 30 days. Joe, political parties, candidates to sign peace accord September 12. The rider, APC, PDP in war of words over plots to rig election. That is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. We'll come back to the studio now as our analyst, Comrade Abel Jumgold, joins us in analyzing these headlines we'll bring about this morning. Once again, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now, one headline that's been running across different papers is striking doctors. The New Telegraph captures it this way: striking doctors, we will invoke no work, no pay, says federal government. The riders, the federal government has reiterated that it is working with NSA, others to ensure the immediate and safe rescue of Dr. Popola, and the federal government to provide 50% electricity subsidy to public hospitals, varsities, and others. Okay? The Daily Times, still the same thing. Warning strike will evoke no work, no pay policy. Federal government tells MAD. Yeah. That's it. Doctors are striking across the nation, and the federal government is saying they're going to evoke the no work, no pay policy on the doctors, just the way they actually did on ASU.
In as much as I want to say that the federal government decision should be rescinded because it's not fair to the doctors, I also want to appeal to the doctor that they should shelve that ideology of going on strike over one of their colleagues that was kidnapped.
Was it one? Do you know how many doctors have been kidnapped?
The one they are talking about is a particular woman in KD. It's to join her with government, especially now when the negotiation is going on. It's to negotiate with government, look at this woman can be rescued, but not threatening strike. Because of the woman, people in the hospital, do you know how many doctors to one patients in Nigeria hospitals? Now you want to go on strike again to worsen the situation for Nigerians. But in your own private hospital, you don't go on strike there.
Okay, so doctors you are totally against the
strike?
They
are totally against doctors going on strikes, and I also not support the federal government implementing no work, no pay. Instead, they should hasten up their negotiation and see how this lady can be freed. It's a wife and a mother. You understand? So since December, it's not easy. The federal government to do what as much as possible to free this woman. They too, God, doctors should not bring that threat to the government. You are not helping the country. You are only boosting the moral, the ego, massaging the egos of the bandits, the kidnappers, because that is what they are looking for. It's a blackmail. They are blackmailing the government.
Okay.
And they are being sponsored by people inside.
Alright, we'll move on now to take one headline.
Okay, this one we are looking at the Daily Trust newspapers now, where it said Nigerians paid 1.04 billion naira ransom to kidnappers in 1 year. According to a report, it goes further to say 1,056 were killed, 7,568 were abducted in 1,130 incidents. Now, credible intelligence lacking. This one is coming from former AIG. Ex-DSS boss wants emergency declared insecurity, and troops neutralized 1,166 terrorists in 29 days. This one is coming from the DHQ. So, sir, from this report, you see that kidnapping is almost becoming a lucrative business.
That is it.
In the country. So, what's your take on that?
Just like what I said earlier, if you keep on paying this transfer, you keep on encouraging people to go into it. And this is what the government announced. There are some persons that you do not hear of them. The number of persons that have been kidnapped could be more than that number that are reported today. And the number of money that have been spent, there are some persons they kidnap and they pay the ransom without noise.
Yes.
Thank God you are the media. I know of a friend who also worked as a cameraman in DRO TV. He's in government house, Bobby. What is his other name? Ibobi. A cameraman. He was kidnapped.
See bars fully graduates without IT experience. I saw a report yesterday that corps members who were reporting to camp yesterday were actually not allowed into the camp because they did not have the IT certificate.
I did not attend Polytechnic, but I know that before you can do your HND, you must have done at least 1 year IT.
Yes.
So how come the person become an HND holder without doing IT? That is one of the things that make the Polytechnic graduate have more experience than the university graduate, because the person have already experienced practical. You understand me? So I don't know whether the NYC just want to be in the news.
Federal government gives traders 1 month to crash prices. FCCP stakeholders explains why 30 days memorandum was given, cites law empowering it to act. Decries prohibitive prices of goods in supermarket. Stakeholders blame insecurity, multiple taxation, and high cost of transportation for high prices. So what's your take on this?
My sister, the government, they should bury their head in shame. They just, let me ask you, you sell market, you sell market, she sells market, you are selling the same product, 5,000 naira. You sell the same product for 4,000 naira. She sells the product for 3,000 naira. Where will I go to buy?
3,000.
So what? If it is the amount they body will sell, the federal government is just making noise. You cannot give an ultimatum. Did you provide the food for them? When there is bandits, insecure, people cannot go to farm. They cannot go and get product. You are not telling them determine the price they will sell for them. Bring your own. The federal government promised that they are going to give us rice for 40,000 naira. If we have seen that trader sell rice for me for 85,000 naira or 90,000 naira.
No, they won't.
You bring your own to crash the price. Where I live, there's a woman that used to sell bag of pure water for 500 naira. Another woman sells them 400 naira. I used to go to that woman that sells 400 naira to buy a bag of pure sachet water. The fault is the government, not the petty trader or the supermarket seller. It's, you don't give what you don't have. Blessing, even if I'm selling a camera to you, if I sold that camera to you at 200,000, 220,000 naira, it will be difficult for you to sell your own product, your own. First of all, the federal government should do their own part, should do theirs. Let there be good roads, let there be electricity, all the facilities should be there. Then secure those farm produce, secure farmers so that they can bring their goods to sell. When you do that, the price will naturally crash because the market is not a monopoly, for God's sake. It is not a monopoly. It is not one person that is selling. Okay. If I cannot buy in Gaps, I go to ShopRite. ShopRite, there was a time many of us were patronizing some kind of particular supermarket. I don't want to mention him. Later, some other supermarket spring up. I will not find that these prices were lower. We'll go there. Even tomorrow, I know the prices of some supermarket that those products that are varies with 15 naira, 100 naira.
I go to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Why will I go to the costly one? There's the cheaper one. So the prices will naturally crash. Since it's not a monopoly. It's only monopoly like NEPA, BEDC, electricity that federal government should force prices on.
Petrol.
Because those are the things they should force. Those monopoly market are the one they should force, not the.
The NLC honored the police invitation, and that headline is on most of the newspapers this morning. On the Guardian newspaper, on news page 6, is captured this way: Ajero vows to fight on, says police invitation mere distraction to labor struggles.
As far as I'm concerned, Ajero is my boss, but I'm not happy with the report I'm hearing for that angle. Ask me why.
Why?
The police, according to the report from the police,
yes,
on their investigation, and inside that building, who happened to be tenant of NLC, and in the course of investigation, to help police carry their investigation, based on the man's confession, they now invited Ajero, and instead of you to go and report as a gentleman, you started bending the issue, said you were even threatening for offense you committed, wanting to use the labor against the government. As far as I'm concerned, what he did was wrong. There's nothing wrong in they invited you. Recently, let me now just see what happened. An issue happened, and the police were tracking me here. Are you getting me? I didn't know they were tracking me. A young lady called me. Oti, and I invited her, okay, let's meet at NUG. I was even with a washerman. We were even laughing after this small girl looking for a man. Not knowing that it was police that were tracking me. But when they came, they told me, they thought that if they knew that I was a journalist, they would have invited me. Are you getting me? Believe that I will honor it. Honor the invitation. You did not even honor the invitation. As far as I'm concerned, Ajero was trying to thwart police investigation, to the best of my knowledge.
But you were talking about the raid. Remember the NLC said that documents from their office were collected by the police. Okay. Are you saying that that is not true as well?
Not true. Because the police did not even go to the NLC floor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They went to that man's floor, that Lebanese floor, who even have an evil record from foreign. No, this is media.
We know that the foreign.
Somebody, God forbid, I just give you an example for a tenant.
Yes.
But you now want to claim that means you have something in your cupboard. You should not use labor workers to cover your own trap. Go and say, they invited you. You are a no-figure. If it's unlike, they will go arrest the person.
Yes.
The person will be arrested. But because they know you, they have respect for you. They now wrote to you, come and report for time. And you know here yesterday that the one they asked you was particular about the tenant.
Yes.
So you knew all this one. Then why you not want to thwart police investigation?
Okay, well, after 1 hour of interrogation, he's been
of course, so they need information. They want him again. They will see inviting.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
it is normal.
Yeah. So still looking at Daily Trust. This one is on education. It says students are seeking review of federal government 18-year admission eligibility. You know that there's been some conflicting sides to this admission eligibility. Parents have aired their views, different people have aired their views that, okay, a child should be 18 years before he or she gains admission. Some people have said even if a child is 15 years, as long as that child passed his or her exams and the child is qualified, the child should go ahead. So right now, the federal government are saying 18 years is the admission eligibility age, but students are seeking review for that age. So what's your take?
Sincerely, if you ask my opinion, I will support the federal government.
Why are you supporting?
Thank you. Even in foreign countries, sorry, before I talk about that, the brains, it takes time to develop. In as much as they say, two of us can be in the same class, we can be the same age. Are you getting me? You might assimilate faster than me. I might assimilate faster than you. She might assimilate, you might be faster than her. That is how it is. But the brains develop at a particular time. Some persons, our parents, at age of 3, they are already sending the child to school. At 4, 8 years, they want to arrange for the child to be in secondary school. At 9, the child is already in secondary school. Then at 14, the person is already entering university. All this rush does not develop the child. It's like you think this are Greek chicken we're eating. This are Greek chicken we're eating. You know the way it is soft. Like the normal chicken that take up to a year before you eat, 9 months, 8 months. That one have a different taste and different maturity, even sense than the 3 weeks, 4 weeks chicken you are eating. That is how the child, you might say the child is smart, is brilliant, but the effects still come later. Even in America, even in England, read very well, research very well. In foreign country, the admission age to higher institution, the one they take for 17, there must be a particular reason for you to be at 17. You cannot enter school as higher institution at 16. It is usually 18. 6 years you start primary school. You do 6 years in primary school, then you now move to the secondary school. After 6 years secondary school, you now move to university. But there's nothing wrong too if at 17 maybe you completed your WAEC and move on. But the way parents are pushing children, that is what it leads to examination malpractice every day. There is like instead of in Nigeria, defilement age, even at overseas, is 18 years.
Correct, are you trying to say that you're not aware that in the northern part of the state, we have young brides?
That there are people are doing it with their culture, does not mean it's a law in this country.
Okay.
And now let me ask you, if I come to your house now, I steal your phone, you caught me steal your phone. There, that is what you are saying, that say child marriage, it is not accepted in any part of this country. That people are doing it. You have even seen parents who will take their daughter to go and give a rich man to marry my daughter. They will say, but it is not a law. The government cannot just come and arrest you.
So you support the federal government?
Over support.
Should be
that is a matured age.
Yes. I have a question in that,
yes.
That 18 years, because we've seen people or young people that gained admission probably 15, 16 years, and they turned out to be good individuals. Is it grades? They had like good grades. They may not have made first class, but then when you look at their results, you'll be forced to give them a part on
the criteria to that the mental age also matters. The reasoning age, there's no matter what. That this one here, like this, this there's no matter what, you can be smart in this. So see, let me tell you, have you asked yourself why in those days some people do not even go to school, but they have more wisdom than even those who read all the old books? Why is it that the person in Alaba market, Onisha market, that did not even go to school, can even deceive and defraud? All these our boys who did not even go to school, are they defrauding Oyibo? So we have different brain. This is academic, this is mental we are talking about. You need to build the brain. The rushing of the brain does not matter. Listen, I might be older than you, possible maybe you started school before you were even born, but we can go into examination, you will defeat me. It is normal. Are you getting me? You might even be reason than me in some things. Everybody have their own blessing, but this is a general. What you are going to generalize, not the one you are saying that people marry.
A girl or
the law
that's
is
below 18,
there.
That it's totally against the law, and I just want to the government
it's
implemented.
It is because it happened to. The law is there. If I just give you an example today now, if you sleep with a girl of 17. And the girl parent report you, prosecute you, you will prosecuted, you
You're
will be
talking about the
sentenced,
northern
you
area.
will jail. If here, not only not here, even in the north,
I agree
anywhere.
that it is in the south.
But
in the south,
if
you dare not
but
marry
if you have a
anyone
relationship,
below 18.
even in the north,
But in the
there,
north, we
is
know
not
what
true.
is happening in the
It
country.
is not true.
It's okay.
It is
It's
not true.
fine.
But if you now a girl of 18, you have relationship with the girl can even start to marry you. There's no crime there.
As long as she's 18.
As long as she's 18.
Alright.
That is when you can vote. That is when you can do any. Me and you know, just as you said now, behind the door, there can be copulation behind the door, which also leads to those diseases that affect young girls. It is happening. But like I told you, except this is brought to government, there's nothing the government can do about it. I just give an example that if the thief, God for the thief something and fighting for all these young ladies and all these things, that is one way we are having solution to them now. But the law first is 18.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade
Thank you so
Dr.
much,
Gold.
sir.
I believe that is you support the federal government's law,
100%,
the law they want to
100%.
implement. But then
Brings
parents and
maturity.
students are crying out. They're saying there should be a review of this law, and they have their reasons.
Right? We are the people's, that's what they call us on Delta Television. Now this moment, we are about to talk about something that happens to many people, and then just a few people talk about it afterwards. It's about sexual exploitation. Matter of fact, people really go through that and pretend to still be okay. But this morning we have, I say people from Nigeria. So, it's good to have you this morning. Lieutenant Ore Felix, good to have you.
It's good to be here once again, and good morning, Deltons.
And our focal person who is very much in charge of this turf, the lady herself, Orakwe Stella, good to have you.
Thank you. Good morning, Deltons.
Okay.
Good morning.
You know, when I was doing my introduction earlier on, I said many people suffer sexual exploitation, but just a few people talk about it. I want the lady to explain fully whether I was wrong or right in that assertion, or indeed the way forward if that my assertion was true.
Yes, you are right. It's not sexual exploitation and abuse is not a topic that a lot of people are very comfortable talking about, majorly due to the stigma that comes with it, the exclusion and the discrimination within our society today. So it's a very sensitive topic. So you have a whole lot of people that people should be aware of. Because there are signs to look out for. For adults, there are signs to look out for children. So let me address that of adults. Most commonly, you can see something like withdrawal, especially from a particular person. You know, you see certain people don't like to be around a particular person at every turn. Sometimes you can even see some aggressive behavior being directed towards a certain person. They usually have like mood swings. Sometimes you can even see some physical signs.
Exploitation. So go ahead, Arthur.
Now, when you now look at exploitation, we are looking at sex in return for humanitarian service, for grade, for job, just name it, and then these are channeled towards sex for this sex for what have you is what we call sexual exploitation or for humanitarian assistance. So you see this one's are exploitation. You're trying to exploit the person either because the person is vulnerable, the person is ignorant, or all that. And then this falls within all genders anyway. It falls within all genders. So you see violence against women or men or children. These are abuses where you see people carrying out pedophilia acts, having sexual knowledge of minors. These are abuses. And then you know that even a married woman can be raped in her own home by her own husband, because sexual abuse here talks about anything that does not come, any sexual relationship or intercourse or what have you that does not come with consent. Once consent is withdrawn, the person may even agree initially. You may start it initially and the person says stop. Once consent is withdrawn, and you fail to end it at that point, it becomes an abuse. And then when we look at harassment may be directly, may be indirectly. Sometimes you see colleagues using sexually polite on people that are sexually irritating on the opposite sex. For instance, you see somebody just coming to you and then either touching you directly or using words, and then the person you are using these words or you are touching in this particular unfriendly manner does not really want it. It becomes an harassment. So you now see that this three line exploitation talks about sex in return for whatever you are giving, in favor for whatever you are giving. Abuse talks about either implicit pain, violence on the person, and then harassment talks about either having direct contact or using verbal words that are not accepted by the victim.
Okay. Let's look at, because we have little time left for us, and this is a very, very broad topic. But let's look at how we can stop this act from being prevalent.
What to look out for, what is appropriate behavior or not appropriate behavior for adults or persons your age. It is the reality we live in. It should not be so, but it is. So it's also important that at a very young age, you begin to explain to your child what is appropriate behavior for this uncle, for this auntie.
When you say at a very young age, what age precisely? Typically, this argument has been on for decades. What age did I start telling my son or daughter about?
I would say, as long as your child is able to communicate,
to speak, once that child is able to communicate in words, that child should be able to know her private part.
Or
It
his
should,
private part.
or his or her private part, or when, where should be touched by anybody, how to sit publicly, how an uncle is supposed to relate with him or her, how an auntie is supposed to relate with him or her. So by the time they know this, that uncle will not just come and carry a 10 years old girl or a girl who is just going through puberty ages or what have you, just grab her and then harassing her. Because most times you find out that the victims are unconscious of what is happening. The victims are unconscious of what is happening. So at this point, we were like Stella rightly said, we'll try as much as we can to ensure that we make the home a safe place where children at home will be able to communicate. At workplace, there should be code of conduct. There should be code of conduct for employees, for visitors, so that people know how they really a faith-based organization.
Okay.
People must be sensitized.
Stella,
Just
quickly.
to add, when we're talking about a child or children cannot give consent.
That's for adults.
Consent expectation.
Yes, you know, the Red Cross, our major goal is to provide assistance to vulnerable people. And yes, we do have partnership with relevant organizations to respond to sexual exploitation and abuse cases. Within our society, our programs are designed and delivered in such a way that ensures that everybody is safeguarded. So when we do these services, because these things are always planned in as to survivors of sexual exploitation.
You have to get a round off. How about you, Trainer? Ori?
We do counseling. This counseling now gives room for behavioral change. And then the law enforcement agency, they take their appropriate part. We just want people to be conscious of the fact that sexual exploitation, harassment, and abuse is ongoing as we speak. Parents, guardians, wards should be vigilant.
Okay.
The future of our children is within our hands.
All right, thank you so much. Blessing, we're saying goodbye already this morning.
There is no consent. Do not indulge at all. And then respect people in your workplace, in any public place at all. Learn to respect people, because when we talk about assault, it's not just when the deed is done already. When you physically assault a person, that is sexual assault as well. As a man, even saying words to people, you know, in your office place, you're saying words to someone, or in a public place, you see someone on the road and you use very very raw language on them. To me, that is sexual assault as well.
It is.
So it doesn't have to be something done physically. It could be words that you say. Just learn to respect people at all times. Respect women respect men, and avoid anything that leads to sexual assault at all. As we wrap up today, that's all we have on Friday's edition of Money Right. Petra, your last words?
My heart goes out to the boy director, T.J. Omori, and it's on this note that I pray that he finds a dawn.
My message is for you who's watching right now, and tomorrow is the last day in the month of August 2024, and maybe you
cultural heritage that defines him, that tells us something about his or her past, that reveals his understanding and his attitude towards life in the present. See, culture is also something shared. Through culture, we collectively acknowledge our beginnings and Ado. What's that? Brando. Common but very special indeed. It is regarded as the most sacred and precious of foods. The kind gesture. But whatever way it is, the fact remains that Delta hospitality begins here. Now, in some places, before prayer is said, technically, they say it keeps the kola from rolling around on the plate. But culturally, it is a very special experience. 50 naira that was put on the plate is now for the elder who breaks the kola to keep as well. I'm waiting for my own kola that will be coming to me with prayers and of course the little gin to awaken all the enzymes. In 18 months of marriage, Cecilia recently gave birth to their first child. According to tradition in most of Delta State, the child should be given a name on the 8th day. And it is Daffy's father who has the privilege of naming his granddaughter.
Franca Okobo Udubrabo. Nomaye Eva Anwadi Lena Omana Mabi Modekana Abi Modekamo Ale Modekama.
The dance and the drumming reflects the joy and the fulfillment on the part of the extended family and the community. With her first step in life now taken, Ogenefejiro Okobo looks forward to a life of fulfillment and happiness. In this way, a child in Delta all elders.
It's assumed the younger one has to greet the elder one first. But it's not that, is that mandatory, because the elder can also call the younger to the, that means I'm on my knee, the parent will say vredo, I'm a get up, that is a greeting. But if the child maybe peradventure is not, he did not really notice the elder can ask the child, oh Magare, trying to draw his attention back that you've not.
The rewards for good behavior are many.